Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much more. I am your host Chris, and She-Hulk Episode 2 was released last night. So you can let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below, because one of the biggest Easter eggs of Phase 4 was found in this episode. Today we're going to be talking about how Wolverine is unofficially in the MCU. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our other major movie and television news updates happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of these are in the description down below. Yes, I said officially, unofficially, because this isn't clearly or 100% Wolverine. But if it is not a teaser for Wolverine, then I don't know how else they plan on teasing him. Literally during the scene when She-Hulk is starting to go on dating sites, she pulls up a website that has tons and tons of Marvel Easter eggs, but in specific, one that has this headline. It's under a column called Iron Man 3s, which I presume are like quick facts that maybe is something Iron Man would be dealing with. The first one says, man fights with metal claws in bar brawl. And then the next one is, why there is a giant statue of a man sticking out of the ocean. There's probably one more, but it doesn't show up in the shot. So, 1. Thank you, somebody, for finally recognizing that there is a giant Eternal sticking out of the earth. I'm glad somebody somewhere, even if it was just this really crappy ad, a column, maybe even some YouTuber just trying to get a little bit of attention, but I'm glad somebody finally mentioned it, because that was really bugging everybody. But the more important one, man fights with metal claws in bar brawl. What an awesome Easter egg, guys. Now we finally can say, hey, there's a Wolverine in the MCU. Now there are a lot of different characters, and I'm sure you're all going to flood the comment section saying, well, it could also be this character with metal claws or this character with pinchers. Yes, you're 100% accurate. There are tons of characters in the MCU canon, and there are tons of characters that could have metal claws. However, who is the first character all of you think of when you hear man fights with metal claws in bar brawl? In fact, this is a reference back to the first X-Men movie, where the introduction of Wolverine is in a bar and he just won a cage fight and he's sitting there and somebody comes to fight with him basically, and he pulls out 2 claws and another claw slowly right up to his neck. He then reaches behind him and breaks the shotgun of the bartender and leaves the bar. This is a reference potentially to that scene and that moment from the Fox universe, although I don't believe for a second that it is the exact same moment and the exact same actor. We know the MCU is looking to recast. They want to start over a lot of the characters from the X-Men universe. In recent reports coming from a few insiders, Deadpool will supposedly be bringing some friends. I say friends because yes, we heard Cable, Domino, and maybe even his lovely lady will be coming over to the MCU from the Deadpool movies. However, recent reports are indicating that maybe he might bring a couple other X-Men as well. Now, we wonder who exactly it would be, whether it was somebody who was very popular, somebody who was very well known, Professor X or Magneto, Wolverine, or if it would be somebody else. My assumption is that it would not, in fact, be one of those big players like Wolverine or Professor X. I think that they're probably really looking to recast those characters and to do their own X-Men thing. In fact, if we're going even deeper into all of the X-Men rumors, we've also heard that the entire next saga following the multiverse saga is going to be an X-Men based saga. A lot of people are hoping that Galactus will be introduced and that there'll be a big cosmic battle, but as it currently stands, we're not in any huge rush. I mean, actually, something that has been complained about Phase 4 was how rushed it felt, how there's just project after project after project, and they're all over the place, but there's no continuity. These are the same things we've been complaining about, so I would actually be very cool with the MCU taking a moment to do an entire X-Men saga. There is enough background story, lore, characters, and understanding of the fan base towards the X-Men, just because of the existence of the Fox universe, that they could do an entire phase, an entire saga, dedicated to introducing, explaining, and establishing mutants and the X-Men. Now, if you aren't aware, it seems we already have our first X-Men, or mutant rather, in the MCU. as at the end of Miss Marvel, it was revealed that she has certain mutations. Now, this word was not just randomly selected, and it definitely carries the weight of what it implies: mutants. We also know that during Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the next big blockbuster to come out, we have Namor, the Submariner, who in the comics is famously referred to as the first mutant. And of course, we've also seen in the trailers for Black Panther that he's a little different from the other Atlanteans who are blue. And he has the wings on his ankles and all these different mutations that hopefully will be addressed, or at least established a little bit, that there is something different about him and something going on. Then, of course, if we go back to the information we have from actors about the current creation and development of the X-Men, we have lots to talk about there as well. Specifically with Taron Egerton, who was my pick for Wolverine, but recently during a podcast went on talking about how he was actually approached to play Cyclops in the MCU. And that at the time, it wasn't right for whatever reason and he turned it down, but this was a while ago. This was like during COVID. So they've been working on finding characters to play these big important mutants for a long time. Now, I understand the process of Marvel to find the actor to play these characters is probably very lengthy and very, very involved. Their casting is one of the elements about the MCU that has been just extremely successful throughout the entire process. Look at Chris Evans, look at Robert Downey Jr., even look at Cable as Thanos. Like, he was a CGI'd character, but Cable was the one to do that, and it was a perfect selection and it was a perfect role. So, that being said, they've been they're working on it, and that might sound obvious to you, like, well, obviously they're looking for actors to play the X-Men or to play any mutants, but this does show a time frame. We haven't even gotten the Fantastic Four, who now have an official movie and have been teased several times by Kevin Feige. We don't have a cast for them. We don't even have a director officially for them yet, although many rumors are saying that we do. Hopefully during Disney Plus Day, we'll get an announcement talking about the Fantastic Four cast and the Fantastic Four director, but that's besides the point. The point is, we don't have an official cast for them yet. We definitely don't have an official cast for mutants. So to hear from Taron Egerton that, they approached him to play Cyclops, it shows that they're a lot closer than maybe we feel. And I would love to see during D23 some type of project announced or some type of discussion about the X-Men or mutants. With that being said, I am also very fine with it being a slow burn. I'm glad that they're doing these Easter eggs, much like this Wolverine one, which gives us all hope that Wolverine is out there somewhere causing problems. And I hope that they start to explain how mutants really have made it into the MCU. What has caused this gene to be spread around? Does it have anything to do with the big man sticking out of the ground or the Eternals at all, like it did in the comics? Or is it something completely different? I hope all this is given to us, but I'm not in a rush. Do a whole phase about it. Take your time. I cannot wait to find out. But let me know what you guys think about Wolverine officially, unofficially being in the MCU. And let me know what you guys thought about She-Hulk in the comment section down below. As always, thank you to everybody who watched the very end of the video. If you find it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing. And I'll catch you guys all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.